Welcome to the ninth planet. As I said before, we transcending the solar system, we leaving the Earth, we crossing Mars and Jupiter, along with Saturn all the way to Pluto. Welcome. This is Planet 9 C# Learning.
They taking chances wanna be me. I put you in your place and fitty. Knitting and looks like I don't send me. Just like her, sang it fitty, I need fitty. Hey, that come a believe. Me na my fuck, I'm a givey. Hey.
Alright, welcome back to the ninth planet, and today I'm about to show you all how to break down a C# statement. So, as you may know or may not know, when dealing with C#, programmers tend to break down scenarios into tiny little pieces so they can be able to code the tiny little pieces and bring them all together into one application. So, the statement we have in front of us here can be broken down to 3 pieces, but let's start reading it out first. So it says that the program inputs 2 numbers and calculates the product of these 2 numbers and outputs the product. So what does this tell you? You as a coder, this should tell you that, okay, we are about to create a program that is going to allow the user to input 2 numbers, and these 2 numbers are going to be calculated or going to be multiplied so that we get the product of those 2 numbers, and then we have to output that product to the screen, meaning that the user will have to see the product of his or her 2 numbers. So the first question here states that create a model with all the properties and methods to calculate the product of these 2 numbers. So when they say here create a model, basically what they're saying to you that you should create a class. So a model is equals to a class. A model is equals to a class. You should always remember this. A model is equals to a class. So create a class with all the properties. Another one. Properties. As I have explained in my OOP video that I will link in the description below. Every class has properties and methods. So I must create a class with all the necessary properties and all the necessary methods to calculate the product of these 2 numbers. So as you can see from your own screen is that we should be creating a class that's going to allow us to input properties, methods, and these methods must make 2 numbers multiply each other and then return a value to the user. Alright, so that deduces like the first statement, like A. So number B, it says create a controller. Now this is a new term, controller. Create a controller to call all the properties and methods, and return the results. Return the results to the view. So basically here they're telling us to create a controller that will call the properties that we have from our class here, right? We will create this controller and it's going to call the properties and the methods, and then it's going to return the results of those properties and methods to the view. So at number C, you're going to write the code to render the view. So basically C, we're going to be writing code to render everything we have done to the view. So what we're doing right now, we are doing MVC. MVC stands for Model View Controller. The M there stands for model. The V there stands for view. And V stands for view, and the C stands for controller. The C stands for controller, yes. Alright, so we're in our Visual Studio 2019 application, and now we're going to build a new project. Simply going to click on new project. After that, we're going to click the framework we want to use. We're looking for ASP.NET Web Application .NET framework that uses C# Windows, Cloud, and Web. Gonna click on that. You're gonna click next. After that, you're gonna name your application. Maybe you're gonna name it like Web App, and then it's gonna be, you're gonna click Create. Or before you do that, you can choose where you want to store your projects. Right now, I've chosen a folder called Projects. You can choose your desktop as well. Also, check the latest version that you're using. It always use the latest version, that is advisable. And then I'm going to click create. After that, this page is going to pop up, this one here. You're going to click MVC, and here you must make sure it's MVC that is clicked only, and then you're going to click create. And then all right, so we have successfully built our application, and this is like the front page you're going to have to your application. So if you were to click run, something amazing will happen. Not really something amazing, you're just gonna get put to like the front page of ASP.NET. From there you can then like prosper your learning and make sure you can like learn more about ASP.NET, because I can only teach you so much on my channel. Most of the work has to be done by you and by you alone. Practice makes perfect, never forget that concept. It works like magic in coding. The more you practice the code, the more you understand the code. The more you understand the code, the better you will be at coding. So you see, now we're back in the application. So here's a few things you need to watch out for an MVC application. So right now we're just gonna click run, and then you're gonna see what an MVC application can do for you. No, so this is after we created everything. Like we clicked the templates, we created our MVC app name, and yeah, all the basic steps I did before. So what you're gonna get is an ASP.NET. So you see, this is a web page. It is very responsive homepage. This is the homepage. You click about here, you're gonna go to your about page. Click contact, you're gonna go to your contact page. So here's the nice thing about this. Let's just close this for a while. You see this is a Razor syntax. Razor syntax is HTML mixed with Razor code. Razor's code is this add things here, and this is HTML, your div classes, your headers, your paragraph classes, everything. So you see here you have our header one. Let's say you were to change this to my name. I'm just gonna use my name for simplicity's sake, and then you're gonna hit run again. Let's look at what's gonna happen when we hit run, because I'm telling you, something very awesome is gonna happen here. Well, it's awesome depending on how you view it. Wait for it a bit to run up. There we are. So you see what we have here is Ndumiso right here, where there was ASP.NET. So this shows you that you can actually mess around with what you have with your already built-in home pages and things. So what I want you to notice is that you have a controller here. A controller has many things. When you go inside of it, you first find your public class. Don't forget this. This is a public class. It is using this action modifier public so that this class is accessible to anything in our code. And guess what comes after? The name of the class is named home controller. Home controller. I'm pretty sure for most of you this is the first time you're hearing a word like this, so bear with me. You see the sign here? This is the sign of inheritance. This is an inheritance sign. So as you can see, this is another class controller. You can click into it here. It will send you here to your public abstract class. So remember, abstraction, it is a concept that relates to that. So it's your abstract class, and it is controller inheriting from controller base. So controller base too has its own class. Here it is, and it's named public abstract class controller base iController. So you see all these things I'm showing you right now, you're not okay, not that you're not supposed to remember them. They are just things that you should know before you even start building an MVC application. So you see here, I hit app start, and then I hit root config, and then you find this controller thing here, and then you find this home here. What is this home for? When you go back here, you see this home here. So this home is for this thing. See, it's for this home page, this entirety of the home page. The name of this controller is home controller. So you see here on your root config, you will put your controller, your name of the controller here, which is home, and then the action here. Let's look at the action. This is the action result. When you go back to your controller, you see that you have index here. So you see index is your action result. If you were to change index to about, let's come back here and say, yeah, change this index to about. I just copied and pasted about. You're gonna run it again. It's gonna take a few more seconds than before. It's gonna pop up real soon, and I'm telling you, it's gonna pop you up on your about page first instead of popping you out on your home page. Do you know why that is? It is like that because we changed the action result method, and right now we are in our about page. But here's the funny thing: we can still go back to our home page even if we open the application in our about page. So you see, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, except for when you want to build a web application and you want your users to first, to like, whenever they click on your link, they are redirected to the home page. You would want that. So changing the index here would be not so bad of an idea. So we're going to bring the index back, and then yeah. So right now we're going to create a class. This class is going to pertain two numbers. These numbers are going to multiply by each other, and then it's going to give us the output. So the name of this class is going to be numbers. Just going to simply right click on models. You just click it, right click, and then you go add. You click add, and then you go class. You click add, and then yeah, yada. All the rest is magic. It's just going to say numbers here. Numbers is going to be the name of our class. So we're going to click add. After clicking add, so as you may know that whenever you're creating an application, first have to define those properties that an application, or the properties of a class. In this case, our properties are going to be public int 1, then be gets set. This is how you do it. So you see, I am fairly quick, so I'm not gonna waste much time creating something as simple as this. It's gonna be answer here. So what else we're gonna need? We're gonna need a method. Our method is gonna be pretty much straightforward. It's gonna be public int calc production. I'm saying production because you can basically name your method whatever you want. I'm using production because I'm gonna be using a multiplication sign to add these two num2, and then we have our class. Alright, we created our class, and now we must move on and create our controller. So creating a controller is pretty simple. You're just gonna right click there, same process as with the model. Click on controller, and now you're gonna click on MVC5 controller, which is empty. You're gonna say add. Now gonna name our controller. Let's name it products. We're gonna give our controller the product name. Then we're gonna say add, scaffolds, and finish. For index, I'm gonna say show products. That's gonna be the name of our action results. And now we move on. Here we're gonna use HTTP post. Please involve this thing. It is very crucial you do. So you see we have an error here. What's this error about? It says type products already defines a member called show products with the same parameter types. Okay. See, the parameters are these things. Anything inside this bracket is called a parameter. So we're going to create a new parameter here called numbers. Don't create a new parameter. It's our class called numbers. We're going to create another object called numbers. So right now the error has moved from here. it has moved from show products to numbers. So how do we clear this error from here? We are simply gonna go up. I want you to see this thing. Say using my first MVC application, you're gonna use your namespace. Your namespace is your project name, the name you defined your project by at the beginning of the project. Dot models and comma, semicolon, and voila, you no longer have your error here. So right now we're gonna overload our controller with objects, taking our properties from our class, which is located all the way in the models folder. You see here, we're gonna take all these three, we're gonna insert them that side. So let me show you that. First, you're gonna say numbers dots num1 equals to numbers dots num2 num1, excuse me. So what we're gonna do again is numbers dots num1 num2 this time, don't forget. There's gonna be numbers dots num2 again. Put the semicolon, never forget the semicolon. Third thing up is numbers dots ans equals to numbers dots, and now we're gonna use our method. This is why we created our method, so it can be used in such an area as this one. And now numbers must be added here so that you know what you're outputting. So that you must always add your objects here so that the compiler knows that everything that you have called above should be brought down. It's kind of like you're storing everything in numbers and then bringing numbers down. And this is how you create a controller. We have successfully created a controller. This is the most basic form of a controller. And after this, we're going to create a view. So we have created our controller, and now we have to move on from our controller and create the view. We're simply going to go to products here on our view page. Oh, let me dial down this first. On views, we have your home view here. You have your products here, you have your shared view. Product has been created as we created the controller here. So the only thing you have to do here is just add products, add a view there, click add. After that, you should name your view. I'm gonna name it as the same name as my action results. It's show products, which is quite lovely, I hope. So you see, you have our header 2 here. We can always change it to like a header 1. We can change it to header 1 like this. So what we're gonna do first, just gonna use ads. This is a razor syntax I'm applying right now. Please pay attention. My first MVC application, you see, this is the namespace I was using before. You should always type up your namespace. So after that, it's gonna be dots. See, you're gonna click models dots. You're gonna click whatever class you wanna use here, and then it's gonna be at using. So you see, you're at using HTML dots begin form. When you look at this thing, you see everything that we did before. We keep using it in a new sample or in a new view. Right now, I'm gonna simply type show product. So you wanna make sure the first thing you type here is the same as this. And since this is the same as your action results, that means that whatever is here should be equal to your action results that you wanna pull. So, and then now we're gonna specify the name of your controller. The name of my controller is product, so I'm gonna add product. Next up is gonna be form method dot post, and there you should be done with the first step. And then I'm gonna add these curly braces over here. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna say enter, then you're gonna add these curly braces. Make sure you add them in a syntax like this one. So right now we're gonna use a div. A div is an HTML property that you can basically add anything on top of a div. It's one of the most used HTML properties in the world. Yeah, I know, right? Pretty hard to believe. So gonna be HTML here, dot editor4, and then it's gonna be a bracket here. It's gonna be n1 equals to whatever this thing is, n1, and then it's gonna be dot num1. After that, we're gonna do the same thing again. It's gonna be div. It's gonna be enter number 2. So right now we're adding a second number. I know it's actually a good practice. You should leave space here for that whenever you're trying to add stuff. You're not too crowded. HTML in your code should be readable at all times. Editor 4. It's gonna be n2 equals to n2 again, and then it's gonna be dot num2. It's gonna be div. After that, the answer is going to be I'm just making this thing up a lot longer than it has to be. HTML dot display4. So you see, you use editor4 if you want to prompt the user to enter something, and you use display4 if you want to display something to the user. And that's it. So you see, got a lot of things down here. Now I'm gonna add a little button here. It's gonna be a div, and then I'm just gonna say inputs. Yeah, it's gonna be inputs. After input, it's gonna be type. Okay, submit. It's gonna be submit, and then we're gonna have a value over here. After value, we're gonna have calculates. Right after calculates, I think we will be done. Yeah, alright, so let's build the application, build solution, to check if everything is going smoothly. Yeah, it is going smoothly. So yeah, no errors at the moment. Let's wait, build succeeded, 1 succeeded. Here, you should make it standard practice to kind of build your solutions as time goes on. Forget these errors. Sometimes you will get errors like this when doing razor syntax. It is extremely common, so do not worry. Alright, so right now we're about to change our controller's name in the root config class. In the root config class, we're about to change that controller name from home to our new controller name, which is now products. Make sure you get the spelling right. This thing is very case sensitive, and we're gonna use our action results, which is show products. I think, let me double check. Yeah, it's show products. I think we are good. So we're gonna hit run right now. Yep, waiting. So you see, this thing is gonna give us like 2 numbers, and then it's gonna multiply these 2 numbers, and then it's gonna give us the value. And of course, we're not gonna see it multiply the 2 numbers. Okay, let me show you all. It's gonna be like this. Say we put 2 here we put 3, and then we hit this button here, calculate, and you see, voila, 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So 22 here, it's gonna give us 66. Yeah, I mean, like, it just keeps on rhyming. It's gonna be 666 at this point. Oh nope, damn, it's a really big ass number. So you see, This is how you use MVC to be able to enter one number, enter another number, and then get the product of those numbers. So ideally, you would think that we cannot just multiply only, meaning that there are other things we can do with this thing. Let's say we were to change this thing to a plus, and then we hit run. Look at this. Right now, we're going to make these two numbers add into each other. So that's how you see how much that method works. So you see, knowing your OOP before you start this topic is very crucial, because you're going to be using OOP a lot here. And I mean a lot. Like, you're going to use it a lot to the point where you're going to be like, damn, nigga, I never knew some shit like this existed. As you can see now, it's 255. And that now brings me to the end of my video. So if you like my video, please like and subscribe on my channel. Please do show your appreciation, as I will be releasing more content very soon. And make sure you learn. Stay coding, stay sharp, stay safe. Dojo out.
Because with the AP. Okay, let's go. Hey, they taking chances wanna be me. I put in your place and fitty. Nitin yang looks like I didn't send me. Just like her, sang it fitty. Fitty, I need fitty. Hey, that come a believe. Me na my fuck, I'm a givey. Hey, they taking chances wanna be me. I put in your place and fitty.